What's up, everybody? My name is Parasite. Welcome back to the Jose Mourinho Challenge with Barcelona. Today we've got what's likely to be my final game on camera as Barcelona manager, and it's in none other than the Champions League final, taking on none other than Liverpool, the team that's had the most success in this series in the Champions League. Afterwards, we'll take a look at our past two clubs, both Chelsea and Sporting, to see how they've done without us, as well as some players we've had along the way. Then we'll take a look at our season review and end it with a look at the job center as we prepare for next season, potentially at a new club. But we have played some matches since last episode, all in the league, so they didn't really matter because we already had the league tied up, but I still wanted to play well, and we did. 3 wins, 1 draw, and the 1 draw was to the best team in that stretch. We started off with a win away from home against Espanyol, 2-1, with Gabel's getting a brace. We did do a decent amount of rotation in these games. Diego Kiai played in almost all of them. A lot of rotation to give players some more fitness and to, not take too many risks on our better players. After that, we did play Bilbao, who are pretty decent. It was 2-2 in the end. Vera with 2 early goals. We also got 2 pretty early goals. Gabel's in the 6th, Julian Alvarez in the 9th. Just a crazy start to the match, and then basically nothing happened for the remaining almost 80 minutes. Then our third match was against Betis, 2 back-to-back ones at home, and of course, we're at home. We absolutely smashed both them and Valladolid. Neither have had that great of a season, but even this Betis match, we rotated quite a bit and put up 5 goals on them. Alvarez with the brace. Luka Carna did start to keep him fresh. He got a brace, and Oscar gets a goal as well. And then in the last game against Valladolid, our last game in the Liga as Barcelona manager, potentially, we beat Valladolid 4-0. They did have a late sending off, but it was already 3-0 at that point. It was 3-0 at halftime. Luka Carna playing the first half, getting another goal. Just another demolition at home. And that sets us up for this Champions League final, taking on a familiar foe in Liverpool. Unfortunately, we're going to be fully fit for this match, but Liverpool can't quite say the same. Barry Gronsveld, who's a pretty important player for them, a right back, Dutch right back, is pretty good. I think he's mostly been their starter. 17 starts. Looks like he has started quite a bit. He's going to be out for this match. Gio Reyna, the American midfielder, also out for this match, 30 years old. Been a pretty constant starter for them as well, so another big loss. Nusa is doubtful, but I think he will play if they need him. I assume he's going to play, especially with the Reyna injury. So he's got a little bit of a knock, but I expect him to be out there. But if we take a look at the Liverpool side, it's pretty recognizable from the one we saw last year as Chelsea manager. I don't really think there's any new players that are going to be playing in this match. They've got guys like Godfrey Rota who are exceptional. Marcelino Cabral is a very good center back. Their goalkeeper is really good. Moreto's another really good player. And of course, they've got guys called Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, who might be in their 30s, but they are still absolutely insane. Now looking at our squad, we are full strength, but Araujo did actually get injured the day before the game, but I injected him. There's no reason not to, so he's going to play even though he has that little bit of a knock. Hopefully he's going to be fine. It wasn't a serious injury, but he wouldn't have been fit for this match, and he needs to be fit for this match. He's an extremely important player. We are playing our 3 at the back, even though Liverpool are really good. This beats good teams pretty comfortably. We played Man City in this and absolutely demolished them. I have to have faith in this tactic. It is a neutral site, which we've had less success with it, but I still think it's our best chance of winning, at least to start the match. And the squad for it is what you'd mostly expect from the first team. Luka Carna and Larinaga up top. They've been very good this season. Nico Williams on the left wing, Trent on the right wing, Adley and Zaniolo in the midfield have been an exceptional midfield pairing. Nico in the holding role, Ponzi, Araujo, Nianzo at the back, and then Simon in net. The only real change I made was Nianzi went from support to defend, and Ponzi went from attack to support, just to be a little bit more reserved. Other than that, it's the main tactic that you're used to seeing. And of course, since it's a Champions League final, it's a 12-man bench, so we've got everyone that we need available to us available. The only first-team players that aren't in the team are players that aren't even registered, so everyone in the team that could make a difference has the opportunity. This is going to be my 3rd Champions League final, and we've won the first 2. We only needed to win 2 in this series, so this one isn't needed, but I still really want to end it and end this season on a high. If we can pick up where we left off in that last match, you'll give yourselves a chance to get your hands on that trophy. The lights may be brighter today, but this is the same game of football we have played all season long and we've prepared for. So trust in your preparation. And like I always say, have confidence in yourselves and have confidence in your teammates. If you do that, you will always have a chance to win any game of football. But I'm not going to tell you to treat this like any other match, because it's not. It's a Champions League final. It might be the same game of football, and we can still play the way we want to. But this is the best of the best. And so it will take nothing but your best in every single phase, in every single moment, from start to finish, if you want to get your hands on that trophy at the end of the game. But we know that this team can rise to the occasion. because we've done it before. But today, we're going to have to do it again. Now let's go out there and win a Champions League final. We've got our first highlight of the Champions League final, and this is a throw-in for us down this left-hand side. We're 12 minutes in, both teams with not many shots so far. Liverpool only one, not on target. We've had three, only putting one of them on target so far. And it was a half chance, as was Liverpool's apparently, that they couldn't even put on target. We've now won the ball back, and now can Araujo do something here? He's going to look to drive forward. He's got that little bit of knock. We need to be a little bit cautious with him, but hopefully he'll be okay. Nianzou is going to take some time. He's going to find Nico. Now Araujo, back outside to Nianzou. Back to Simon. Can he find Ponzi? He does. Now he's spread the ball out. He's got a lot of space to work with. He's going inside to Nico. Zaniolo slowly building this up, looking for a ball to Trent. Looking for Carne. He's not going to get there. Haaland's going to head it on to no one. Now Araujo's going to pick it up. Nico. Adley. Can he find the ball? He does. Larinaga. Through ball is there for Luka Carne. First real opportunity, and it's Luka Carne. So, of course, it's a goal. What a finish. What an assist by Larinaga, who's been just tremendous as a creator from the striker position. He finds the through ball. 13 minutes in, we've got the lead in the Champions League final. It's been a good start, but there is plenty of game to go, and Liverpool can score at any moment, but it might be a little bit more difficult now, as they now have a sending off, a straight red card 40 minutes in, and they've yet to have a shot so far. Moretto is now off. They are down a man, and we are up, and we have dominated the game so far. But like I just said, they only need one opportunity. They've got Haaland. They've got Mbappe. Even down a man, they are still a big threat. But we're going to see no more in this first half until the very last highlight. Trent putting a ball in from the corner. It bounces around. Zaniolo gets headed away by Haddad. Looks like we're not going to get this goal unless we still can create something here. Adley, back post. Very far off target. We're going to end this first half with an advantage, 1-0 up. But we also have a man advantage as Liverpool are down a man and they're still yet to have a shot on target. They're a man down, but don't let your performance levels drop. We cannot get complacent and think we've already got this one before the final whistle blows. Coming to this match, we knew they only needed one opportunity. And even down a man, that is still the case. So we're going to still have to play our best for these next 45 minutes. First highlight is pretty quick in this second half, only a minute in. It's going to be us with the ball. Larinaga is going to go look for Trent Alexander-Arnold, but there's Mbappe intercepting. We cannot be sloppy because they will take advantage. Mbappe only needs one ball in behind, and he could definitely get them back in this game. They're going to look for a long ball from their goalkeeper. Can we win this? It's not going to be easy because Haaland is the one fighting for it, but it does eventually get headed back to Vicente Ponzi. Now can we start and create something here? We cannot be sloppy. Nico, Zaniolo. Can't do that. That is sloppy. You cannot do that, especially in those positions, especially when they have Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, who has I'm pretty sure that was Haaland who had the shot. I think it was, and that was dangerous. Fortunately, a good save. But now I've got a very dangerous free kick. You see, Adley's going to be the one step over it. I kind of wish we had Oscar on the pitch now. He's an exceptional free kick taker, but Adley's not too bad either. Off the inside of the post, and now we've got our second. 50 minutes in, 2-0 up a man. We should be winning this from here, but Liverpool can still come back. They've got the best striker in the world, and maybe also the second best striker in the world. After our second goal, not much has happened. We've yet to have a highlight. We're now in the 85th minute, 5 minutes and added time away from winning our third Champions League final. We've made two substitutions, both at the wingback positions. Cucurella's come on. He's dropped back, as has Pedro Porro. But we've got one left. But before that, I want to highlight the reason why you inject players. Ronald Araujo, best rating in the entire team on an injection with that little bit of a knock. If there's only a few games left and you've got a player like Ronald Araujo, you definitely inject him. And he shows he can still be really successful on injections. Now I've got to make our last sub. And I think it's going to be Adley to come off. He's had a good game. He scored that free kick, but he is the least defensive player on the pitch right now. And I think we can just focus on defending from here on out and win this game. Now the question is who comes in. Usually be Kamara as the defensive central midfielder. Stasinos can also play in the midfield. He's pretty defensive, but not the greatest of passers, not the greatest of mentals. I think Kamara would be the safer option. And I think it's probably the one we're going to go with. Kamara as a box-to-box midfielder. We've gone to cautious to try to reduce the number of risks we're taking. Outside of that, no real changes. We'll start time wasting a little bit. We've taken off counter press and counter, slowed the pace down. And I don't think we've changed anything here. I want to keep the high defensive line because they have Erling Haaland. And really, there's no easy way to defend Erling Haaland. Usually against guys that are really tall and win aerial duels, you want to play higher defensive line so you don't give them as many opportunities in the box. But at the same time, Haaland's ridiculously fast as well. So there's really no good option. I might drop it back to normal, standard, whatever. drop the line of engagement, let them distribute it short, because more long balls up to Haaland means more long balls he can win. Take off the offside trap. I don't think I'm going to do tighter marking because both Haaland and Mbappe stupidly fast. I think that's going to be it. We should be fine. They're down a man. There's not much time left. Have they had a shot on target yet? Have they had a shot in the second half? They have. They've had 7 shots, 4 on target, but very low XG. They've not been very good of chances. No half chances or clear-cut chances in this half. Their first shot of the game was a half chance. Since then, nothing. Can we hold on? Stoppage time is coming up. 4 minutes. Looks like we're going to make it 3 for 3. 3 Champions League finals and 3 trophies as we are lifting the Champions League final with Barcelona. We won it with Sporting. We won it with Chelsea. Now in our first season with Barcelona, we've won the Copa del Rey, we've won the league, and we've also tacked on a Champions League on top. And it's going to be the injured man, I believe, Ronald Araujo, to lift the trophy. Not an easy one, taking on Liverpool, but we did get pretty fortunate with that sending off. That definitely changed the entire course of the game. Obviously, we already had a lead at that point. We'd already been the better team. But Liverpool definitely had a chance of coming back. But after that sending off, that's pretty difficult, even for a team as ridiculously talented as Liverpool. Especially because this team, this Barcelona team, is insanely talented as well.
Congratulations, Ryan. How good does it feel to win the Champions League?
It's a tremendous feeling, but I'm more happy for these players. They have been amazing all season long. They have worked so hard for moments like this, and I am so proud of them. And I'm so happy that they're getting the rewards for that work they put in. So it only takes one season to lead Barcelona to their greatest season in this series, winning the quadruple, getting to their first Champions League final, and going on and winning it as well. What a season this has been. This is a team when I took over, they were pretty talented, but they definitely needed a lot of work. We'd still have a lot of their original players in here, but I feel like the way we built that system around them, the way we brought in the few players that they needed, world-class strikers, and depth in a lot of positions. I think this team is just very, very good. This might not be as good as the Chelsea team that we had last year that won the Champions League, but it's still an extremely good team. And that tactic, that 3 at the back tactic, it might not work away from home, but at home, that thing is insane. And what more can I say about Ronald Araujo? Club captain, been here since day 1. He's been an absolute rock at the back. And then in the final match, the Champions League final, injured, he steps up and is the best player on the pitch. So that makes it back-to-back Champions League finals that I've won, first with Chelsea and now with Barcelona. But now let's take a look at Chelsea and see how they got on this season. They did end up winning the league, 4 points over Liverpool, and those two were head and shoulders above everyone else. Tottenham finishing 3rd, 10 points behind 2nd place Liverpool. United in 4th, City in 5th, Arsenal in 7th, not a great finish for them. So the Chelsea manager's able to come in and do a good job, get them the league title. Didn't get to the Champions League final like I did. Obviously, they lost in the semi-final to Liverpool, but it's still a pretty good season for Chelsea. Now, if we look at their schedule, how they do in all the cup competitions. So let's make sure we're in the right season. Okay, yeah. So Community Shield, they beat Man City. Obviously, they beat us in the Super Cup. Frustrating start for us. Then they lost their first game of the league season. After I went unbeaten all of last year, they lost their first competitive league match. Well, not a great start, but they did pretty well after that to win the Premier League. The EFL Cup, they beat West Ham in the 3rd round. They got out of the group with Olympiacos, Benfica, and Red Star. Not that hard of a group. They beat Leicester in the EFL Cup 4th round. And they lost in the quarterfinal to Liverpool 2-1. Liverpool looks like they've been their bogey. They drew with Bristol City and won the replay in the FA Cup 3rd round. And then they lost in the 4th round to Preston. So not great in the domestic cups for Chelsea. They won the league. And they got to the Champions League semi-final before getting kind of embarrassed by Liverpool. Now taking a quick look at their transfers this season. The first 3 were done for me. Just guys that I brought in on freeze. Falco and Laners, 2 youngsters. Malang Sarr to be a depth center back. This is the first signing they made. Hin Alon from Southampton, 52 million. He is a 24-year-old Israeli right back, and he's fine, but they already had 2 right backs that are both better than him. 52 million, and he made 4 appearances. $52 million for a player that made 4 appearances in an entire season for you. And he's 24, so he's not even a player for the future. That's an awful signing. And then after that, this is one that I've seen. You might recognize the name Ignacio Callero, because he actually played for us. Well, he didn't really play for us. We had him at Sporting. We sold him on, and then They bought him from Leicester for $104 million. $104 million. Just for reference, we paid over $100 million for a player this year, and it was Luka Karna, 102. So this guy was paid $2 million more than Luka Karna. And he's not $2 million better. He's not a $100 million player. He's solid as just a one-trick pony winger, but that's not a $100 million player. His physicals are really good. He's got some decent passing, good technique, dribbling, crossings there. Can't finish anything. Good heading, even though he's 5'9", but his mentals are fine. Like, that's a good mid-table, maybe Europa League right winger that they paid $102 million for. And he made 28 appearances, 20 starts. Didn't have the worst of seasons. 4 goals, 5 assists. But what made the signing even worse was his last season with Leicester. He was awful. 6.78 in the Premier League. And they decided, yeah, that's a $104 million player. They might have won the Premier League, but they're doing some awful business in the transfer window. And then their third signing, $90 million. Not a bad player. Amad Diallo, the former Manchester United winger. 30 years old. He's solid. He's a solid player. 90 million, maybe a little rich, but you add on the fact that they barely played him. 8 starts, 8 sub appearances, $90 million, and he gets 0 goals, 2 assists. Was he a January signing? For them, I hope so, for how little he played. He was not. Not even a January signing. He made 8 starts, 8 sub appearances, and they paid $90 million for him. They paid over $200 million, almost 300 or 250 for a total of, was it like 28 starts or 30 starts, I think? 30 starts for players that don't even have a high ceiling, a high future. They're at their peak for $250 million. That is some atrocious business. And their last 2 signings were just youngsters for the future, so nothing special there either. Looking at the outs, again, the first few of the ones that I did, down to Kessie and Bassett on loan. And obviously, I bought Boothby at Barcelona, but they sold Isaac Beatty to Juventus for 69, raising 83 million. I mean, at 16 years old, we found him, and he was just absolutely tremendous. He was nearly this at 16. He's just never developed since, which is a little sad, but he was still a homegrown player for Chelsea, still pretty solid. I still think to get 69 million for him, especially because Juventus had 9 appearances for him. I think that's some good business for Chelsea still. That's some good money to make up for all the awful deals they did. The other sales, just some youngsters. They sold Callum Doyle, who we bought for up to 13.5 million to Levante. We paid a pretty big fee for him, 33 million, but he was homegrown in nation. Players that are good enough to join your team and be backups that are homegrown in nation are hard to find. So I thought he made a lot of sense for me to bring in. Apparently their new manager thought differently. I mean, he won the league, but I feel like the future of this club is not looking that bright with the transfer business we've seen so far. They've also sold another one of my signings, Lewis Nielsen, to Betis. We actually played him a little bit with Barcelona. I mean, he's never been an exceptional player, but one of the better versatile right back, center back, even midfield options. It's got some great versatility to be a depth piece. I really like Lewis Nielsen. Apparently, again, their manager thought differently. The rest of them, only one more notable sale, and it's another one that makes no sense. Guilherme Santos to Newcastle for 46 to 55 million. So they took a loss on him. And, I mean, I think he'd be their best, if not maybe 3rd best midfielder, because they've still got Camavinga. They still got Mariba. But he's very good. He is very, very good. Why the manager thought he didn't need him, I do not know. We bought him for 79. They sold him for 46. But Newcastle haven't even played him. 8 appearances. But he's played very well. 1 goal, 6 assists. I think it was January deal, but they played a lot more than 8 games since January. So I don't understand why no one is playing this guy, because he is just absolutely ridiculously good. Now if we take a quick look through their team to see who played and who played well. Perazo obviously played a lot, was absolutely tremendous. He's one of the best, if not the best goalkeeper in the world. He won the Golden Boot in the Premier League. Bruno Thiago played a lot for him, scored 34 goals and 15 assists. Another really good season for Bruno Thiago. I think he won the Golden Boot. No, he's 2nd behind Moukoko. Haaland with only 25. You might remember last year he scored 41. Scored 41 while I'm there. I leave, he scores 25. That's a little stupid. But Thiago had a pretty good season. Mark Rutten played a lot. He was really good for him. He really came on at the end of the season after we bought him. Cerezo played a lot, was pretty solid. Yeremy Pino, 11 goals, 16 assists, another good season. Kai Havertz looks like he had a little bit of a bounce back season. 11 goals, 11 assists. Vidovic scored 19 goals. I'm pretty sure he played a lot at striker because they mostly played 4-4-2. Yeah, 41 appearances at striker. So pretty decent goal scoring season from him. Reece James looks like he had a decent season. Benoit Badiashile continues to be one of the best center backs in the world, I think. Mariba, 37 starts, played maybe not his best season. Didn't look to be that exceptional. Jimmy Wong played a lot, which again makes that Alon signing make even less sense if they're going to use Jimmy Wong. 30 starts. I think he played a lot at center back. Yeah, 18 at center back, 16 at right back. If you don't remember, he is 5'7" with 5 jumping reach. Stop playing this guy at center back. You got away with it, but it's going to bite you. Hierro, 29 starts, was okay. Fromm looks like he played a decent amount, played pretty well. Camavinga did not play enough. 28 starts, 18 sub appearances. He is far too good to be played that little. Sesko, 16 goals and 15 starts. Played a lot of sub appearances, though. Ruggeri played a bit. Mount didn't play that much, and again, wasn't that great. Kind of disappointed about last season with him as well. Malang Sarr barely played for him. Diallo, again, barely played. They're selling Zvonarek, or while he's leaving on a free to Atletico Madrid. They barely played him. 7 total appearances for Lil for Zvonarek. Just absolute travesty. And then their $50 million man barely touched the field. Lucas Jose, who is a really exciting young defensive midfielder we bought, he was going to be my Kessie replacement. Like, he would have played for me because he's good and he's got a lot of potential, but he barely touched the field. 7 sub appearances, all he got. Now moving on to Sporting, they have become the dominant force in Portugal. Our first season of the save was this year, 2021-2022, when Porto won it. I only played like 7 matches as their manager. My first full season, we won it, and then went on to be pretty dominant. Benfica won a couple, but they've now won 4 in a row. And their manager's done a really good job with them. We look at the past couple of seasons. Let's go to the league table. Obviously, this year they won it 8 points clear. Benfica. Year prior, they won it pretty handily over Guimarães. Then very handily over Benfica. And then I think this was my last year there, where I scored 114 goals and won by over 11 points. Yeah, they've done pretty well. I think their manager's done a pretty good job. Obviously, they haven't been getting to Champions League finals, but they've been doing really well in the league. Now, taking a quick look at their cup competitions this year, the Taça da Liga, looks like they got out of that group probably. In the Champions League group was Liverpool, Hertha Berlin, and who is the other one? Anderlecht. So, yeah, it's not an easy one to get through. Liverpool, obviously, really good. Hertha Berlin, not bad either. And they got through the group. Taça da Liga, they continued to get out of that. Won the 5th round of the Taça de Portugal. Won the 6th round against Benfica. Taça da Liga, they won the semifinal against Porto and the final against Benfica without allowing a goal. So, continued our dominance in that competition. I feel like we've won this like almost every single year. Yeah. We've won it almost about as much as we've won the league. Very good competition for us. After that, see, they lost to Inter in the first knockout round. The team that we eventually knocked out. Semi-final of the Taça de Portugal, they beat Belenenses. And then the final hasn't been played yet. So, yeah, that's tomorrow. So, let's advance to that and see if they win it. All right, the final should have been played. Did they win it? They did. 3-0 over Famalicão to win the Taça de Portugal, along with the Taça da Liga and the league. But unfortunately, they got knocked out of the Champions League in the first knockout round. Now, I'll take a quick look through the transfers that they did this season. A couple free signings. Only to highlight the notable ones. Cooper Miners, 35 years old, the former Atalanta player. Still really good. That is an exceptional free signing. 235K a week is a lot of money, though. But Sporting are a really big club now. Obviously, one name that we sold them, Tapsoba, 17.5 million. How well did he do? So, physicals still look pretty solid. I thought that might drop off, but he's done a pretty decent job staying fit. 14 natural fitness. I mean, he looks like a pretty good player still, but only 14 appearances, only 9 starts. But he played really well. I feel like unless he had a lot of injury problems, they should have started him more. And he did have some injuries, but nothing severe. Nothing that would have made him only play 14 games. I feel like he should be playing more for that team. He's got to be their best center back. Other signings they signed, 18.75 million. Caligara from Bayern. Pretty good left back, actually. Pretty good left back. Position we actually struggle to find good players in. Habib Baz, a pretty good young player they loaned in. Player I've had on my eye on for a while. He just hasn't really developed into that useful of a player. Really good dribbling, some pretty good physicals, but not much in terms of end product. Dubois, that is their Luca Carner replacement, and I really crushed Chelsea for their business. Sporting have kind of killed it. Darren Dubois is a perfect signing for Sporting. Obviously, we were looking for a guy that could be world-class right now, and that's what Luca Carner is. But if you're Sporting, if you're competing in the Portuguese league, that's the kind of guy you want to sign. It's a guy I've had my eyes on because he's probably the best young striker in the league, in the world. Darren Dubois from Lorient, 90 million, so it's cheaper than Luca Carner's sale, but still really, really good young player. Just exceptional. His dribbling, finishing, first touch, he's got all that. Decent passer. Technique could be better, but composure, decisions. Physicals, not world class, but still really good. Oh, and he's 6'7". Yeah, that's a very good signing for them. He scored 17 goals in the league. Only one in the Champions League, though, and that's kind of where we were looking at. We were wanting a Champions League player, and Luca Carner scored the most goals in the Champions League, while Dubois only got one. So it's a good signing for Sporting, but I don't think it would have been a good signing for us. Another big signing, Moise Kean. I mean, that just speaks to the kind of club Sporting is now. They could bring in Moise Kean from Manchester United, $20 million. And he's still really good. Really, really, really good. Yeah, that's an amazing signing. He might be 33 years old. $20 million for a 33-year-old is kind of expensive. But he has 19 natural fitness. His physicals are still amazing. That is a very good signing. I actually want to look at his stats. Did he play well? I feel like he couldn't have not. Like, he had to have played well. Did they buy him in January? They better have. Okay, they did. So 11 starts in the league, 8 goals, 4 assists. Yeah, he's a little good. 2 games in the Champions League, scored a goal. Yeah, that's another really good signing for Sporting. In terms of the players they let go, Belu's a Romanian attacking midfielder that we had, a youngster that has developed pretty well. They sold him to Atletico Madrid for 27 million. A big loss is Figueiredo. I mean, he was the guy that we signed from the lower levels of Portugal for free, I believe. Yeah, free deal. That might be the best business I've ever done. A free from Sakavanenets, and he's turned into one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. Like, he's at Bayern. He's just absolutely tremendous, can do everything. Amazing physicals. I mean, he's not the greatest in terms of goal scoring, but he's got decent long shots, good defensive player, decent passer at this point, really good mentals. He's a very, very good player. I do think they replaced him pretty well with, I mean, both Coop Miners, who's been really good, and I think they signed him last year, that midfielder I showed, Alanderson. I mean, I think he's a very good replacement for him as well. Really good defensively. Not the same kind of passer, but really good mentals, really good physicals. You know, they've had to let some guys go, but they've done really well to replace them. And it's decent money for Figueiredo, up to 75 mil. More youngsters. Pedro Gonçalves left to go to Milan for 9 million. How'd he get on? Getting up there in age. 14 appearances, 5 goals. Not bad. 13 of them starts. So he played a decent amount for Milan. Physicals dropping off. Technicals dropping off. 34 years old. On a lot of money, 275K. He was a great player for us, but I think we're kind of seeing the end of the road for Pedro Gonçalves. Then obviously we bought Luca Carner for big money. He's been really good. And another youngster, I think I bought this guy. Right back, Vasilj is at Leverkusen. Decent young prospect, not amazing. 21 years old, still has a lot of potential. Yeah, I bought him for 1.3. They sold him on for 38.5. Decent business. And then an old center back that they brought in at 1.34 years old, not good. So to get some money for him is probably a good thing. So now for our final look here at Sporting, take a look at some of their better players who played a lot for them and played well. A lot of new players in there. Obviously some we know, like Alejandro Jose Sanchez, we wanted to get. Omar is a striker they signed almost immediately after I left. He's been a solid player for him, if not exceptional, but he scored 25 goals in the league. Alanderson, who's been tremendous, very, very good signing. Alejandro Francis had 41 starts. Not the best of seasons. I think of all the signings they made, he's probably one of the lesser ones. He's solid without being exceptional. They paid 48 million for him. Coop Miners played pretty well for them. A lot of starts. 12 goals for Team Coop Miners. That's pretty good. Alarcon, a young player, 36 appearances, 36 starts. Center back, pretty decent young player. I don't think I bought this guy. No, I didn't. They bought him from Boca for 9 million. It's a pretty good signing. Dubois, 35 appearances, 22 goals. Briones, another good young player. They signed a really good young player. Another really good bit of business. Right back. They bought him for 11 million from Mexico. Player I had my eye on, but didn't really need. They needed him, and that's a really good signing. Davide Caligara. Oh, that's the guy they got from Bayern. Ruben Neves has been there for a couple of years. He's been playing really well for him. Oscar Perez, a really good winger they've got. 13 goals, 8 assists, and 31 starts. Another really solid signing for them. I don't think the money was crazy. 37 from Bayern. Mateus Nunes still there. Looks like he's starting to fall out of the first team a little bit. 24 starts, 17 sub appearances. 34 years old. Physicals really falling off. Yeah, it's not looking good for Mateus Nunes. Machuca, 20 starts. There's Moisty Keane. Tapsoba, like, the center backs that are starting over him. Alejandro Francis. Maybe he's as good. His physicals probably are a little bit better. I could see that. Alarcon, though, I mean, again, good physicals. I guess that's what they're going for, but I feel like Tapsoba's pretty good. He's a really good passer, isn't he? 14 passing, 13 vision. Yeah, I think Tapsoba should be getting more game time than that, especially because they paid decent money for a 34-year-old center back. Outside of that, no one really here of note. Some youngsters. Trincao barely played. 4 starts, 5 sub appearances, and I don't really know why, because he's good. His physicals aren't amazing, but he's still a pretty good player, leaving on a free to Fiorentina. And that's pretty much everyone of note. Next, we'll take a quick look through the end-of-season review, but before we get to that, a couple other inbox items I wanted to bring out. The Champions League award winners, goalkeeper of the season, Simon finished second. That's pretty good. Araujo won defender of the season, Nianzou second. Adley won midfielder of the season, and Luca Carna won forward of the season with Larinaga third. The dream team had Larinaga and Carna, Adley and Trent, Nianzou and Ponzi. I'm surprised Ponzi's on there, but he did really well as that wide center back. Carna is the Golden Boot winner, 8 goals. Holland also had 8, but I'm assuming Carna had less appearances or something. Obviously, they both made it to the final. Brenner also had 8. So how does that work? There's no way he had more appearances or less appearances than Brenner, right? So what gives him the Golden Boot? Is it average rating or something? I don't know, but I'll take it. I think that's most of the inbox items. So let's get to the season review. New arrivals, start off with that. Obviously, we won 4 trophies. Transfers in, Luca Carna. Big deal, 102 million. But he scored 45 goals. So, yeah, we needed a dominant goal scorer. Had a 7.98 average rating, and I think he fit the billing. It took him a little bit to settle in, but he played really well. I think the player that probably surprised me the most, though, was William Gabels. Like, I really liked his attributes. I thought he was good. He played pretty well for Bayern. You know, I thought, goals per game ratio was good. They just didn't give him enough opportunities, and he's shown us he can be a good goal scorer. 29 starts, 12 sub appearances. He gets 25 goals and adds another 8 assists as a rotational player. Julian Alvarez on loan. I thought that was some good business too, to bring him in to be some depth. He gets 6 goals and 10 starts, 5 sub appearances. Unai Simon, another really big get for us. Obviously, he's kind of up there in age, 35. But we desperately needed a goalkeeper, and he was a massive improvement on Ki. Sergio Ricardo, a young player that I had to bring in because he's just far too good to not bring him in for that kind of money. Had a decent start. Didn't play a lot, but played pretty well. Cucurella, pretty cheap deal. I thought he was perfectly fine as that left midfielder, left back, kind of do everything. Busio, I thought was another good loan signing. Didn't play a lot, but he did all right when he got the opportunities. Boothby, maybe a little bit more disappointing. $43 million, 3 goals, 4 assists. Never really played that well. I mean, I liked his kind of distribution of attributes. The fact he's, he could do a little bit defensively. Good passer, decent dribbler, could play kind of every role we needed to. Just performances weren't quite up to scratch. Then if we look at our transfers out, Nice and Atisti, obviously we've replaced him with a much better player in Gabels, but he played pretty well for Lille. 24 goals and 29 starts. I don't think he would have done that for us, but still a good season. Obviously, we saw Tapsoba. Dwight McNeil left before I got here. Schlager I sold, and he was fine for Lazio. 4.2 million. Played quite a bit for him, which is a little surprising. Notable loans, not really many here. Obviously, Piers loaned out. Did all right. Did better at Hoffenheim than he did for us. Uribe also did okay at Granada. Now looking at the results, obviously we won the league by 11 points over Real Madrid. The board wanted us to win it, and we did it. Luka Karnik scoring 29 goals in the league. Club World Cup hasn't happened yet. Champions League, they wanted me to get to the quarterfinals, and I won it, so really overachieved there. Larinaga and Karna both with 8 goals. Obviously, the pivotal match, the Champions League final, 2-0 win, but on the route, obviously lost to Lazio, but we rotated the team completely. 5-3 loss to City was a scary point, but what a comeback that was. Just shows how good we are at home. Beat them 3-0, beat Inter 4-1 at home. I mean, we are so good at home. How we only beat Feyenoord 1-0 at home, I do not know. Super Cup, we didn't win it, lost to Chelsea. The Copa del Rey, obviously we won it, beating Villarreal, Real Madrid, and Valencia. And the Supercopa, we did win as well, beating Bilbao and beating Madrid in the final. The biggest win was a 6-0 over Real Sporting. The match to remember was a 5-0 over Real Sociedad. I think they could have picked a lot of different matches for that. And then goal of the season was Larinaga, 28th minute against Inter Milan in our 4-3 win. Let's see this. All right, I think this is it. Araujo starting with the ball is going to go into Boothby. Out to Trent. Larinaga, long shot, I'm guessing, from here. I mean, it was a good finish. You know, a lot of power behind it. Bottom corner, good placement, but goal of the season, I think we had better goals. Now looking at the finances and the reputation, we grew their reputation to a full 5 stars. No new sponsorships or anything. The sponsorship money was a little bit more. Broadcast revenue was down 10 million. I don't know why that is. Corporate hospitality slightly up. Competition prize money pretty massively up. Match day commercial a little bit up as well. 63 million, almost 64 in domestic sales. Over 1.3 million shirts sold. Top ones were Zaniolo, which is a little surprising, but understandable. Adley, he was really good. Karna, Araujo, makes sense. Nico Williams. Yeah, I can't really think of many that I'm surprised aren't on there. Maybe Trent. Maybe you'd say Nico, but he doesn't really play a pivotal role in Football Manager, even though he is the vice captain. I can kind of see it. Now the accolades. I did win Manager of the Year in La Liga. Our fans player of the season was Luka Karna. Makes sense. Young player of the season, Stanisos. Who else would have... I mean, I guess, yeah. Who else would it have been? I think most of the other players are probably too old. Guys like Larinaga, guys like Ponzi. Yeah, I mean, Luka Karna at 25 as well. Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have that many super young players. A lot of players around Luka Karna's age, around 25, that I think are a little bit too old. Signing of the season, Unai Simon. I mean, Luka Karna's player of the season, but not signing of the season. I get it based on how big of a game changer he was bringing him in, and you know, the fee was obviously a lot cheaper. Goal of the season we saw, top goal scorer, Karna, 45. Assister was Adley with 14. We had a lot of players on a similar number of assists, though. We had like 4 different players near 14, 13 assists. Player of the matches was Karna with 10. Average rating was Karna with 8. And passes completed for 90, Guehi 84. Player of the match award record for Luka Karna. What a season this has been. It only took me 1 transfer window to win everything with Barcelona. That's pretty impressive. Now we have to look towards the future. We've won everything we need to win here in Spain. So now we need to look at a job in Italy, France, or Germany. So let's look at the job market right now. Let's start with the job security. There are some open jobs. None I'm that interested in, though. Obviously, we don't need to go to England, so Southampton or West Ham, we're not going to go there. And unfortunately, I don't think they're big enough jobs to draw talented managers from other big clubs in any of those other 3 countries. So I don't think they're going to be too consequential. Leverkusen could be a team I would consider. In the Bundesliga, they finished 8th outside of European spots, but their team isn't bad. I take a look through it. They've got a couple good players in there, a lot of really young players, but feels like a pretty big ask to overthrow Bayern. Their team is insane. They've won it every year but one. Take over a team just finished 8th that maybe not have the resources of some of these past couple of teams I've been at, Chelsea and Barcelona. That might be a little bit too big of a job, and again, I don't know if it'd attract a big enough manager for it to open up another spot for us. We look at the insecure ones. Napoli insecure, but their team is absolute garbage. So, like, their best player is like 2.5 for me, I think. Their best player, like most talented player, is 2.5 stars, and he's old. So, yeah, that's an awful team, and I don't think they're going to get anyone of note either. And, yeah, no other real big teams are insecure. Jobs that could be available, though. Arsenal, they finished 7th in the Premier League. Could definitely be available. It says it's stable, but I mean, I don't think they got Europe at all, right? It looks like no Europe. So Klopp could be on the chopping block there, and obviously not a job I'd go to, but it could open up some opportunities. And the same can be said for Man City, because they finished 5th, which I do think they got Europa League. Yeah, they got Europa League, but it's Man City. They should be getting Champions League football. And the fact they don't, and I feel like Pedro Martin should kind of be on the block as well. They could definitely attract a very good manager. Lazio, they finished 3rd. They're probably fine. Milan, they finished 4th. Bad end of the season, but they still have Champions League. I think they're probably fine as well. Atletico Madrid finished 3rd. Finished the season really well. Don't expect anything there. Let's look. Anything else? Madrid, they finished second. Don't expect him to lose his job. Dortmund, third. Feel like that's probably fine for them as well. Hertha, fifth. Yeah. Mönchengladbach, seventh, but I don't think they'd be able to attract a good enough manager, and I don't think I'd want to go to Mönchengladbach. Though they do have really good club rating. Might have to take a look at the team, but probably unlikely. He'd have to lose his job first, and he's currently stable. I think it's probably unlikely that comes open. And yeah, not much else. Most of the big teams, pretty much all of the big teams, are pretty secure. Chelsea, secure. They won the league, obviously, even though I do think they kind of underperformed. They've been awful in the transfer window. Inter, second, they're fine. Juventus, first, they're fine. United, fourth, probably fine as well. Tottenham, third. They're chuffed with that, I'm sure. Leipzig, second. Yeah. Liverpool, second in the league. Lost the Champions League final. Still very secure. Still think he's fine. Obviously, I'm only very secure. I checked earlier and I was untouchable. I won the Champions League and now I'm only very secure. Makes sense. Bayern is very secure. They won the league, of course. Nagelsmann's still there. PSG won the league every single year. That's not going to be available. Sporting can now draw big managers, but I don't expect him to leave either. Very secure. Done really well with them. So yeah, not any obvious opportunities for us. Most likely, I'm going to have to start playing into next season and wait for one of these teams to underperform, because I don't think a job's going to be available in the offseason that I'll be interested in taking. But except for potentially a Club World Cup final if we get there, I don't plan on showing any more matches with Barcelona with me as manager. We've won everything we need to win. The matches don't really mean much going forward. We've already even won the Champions League now. So I might end up having to play into next season. But the next episode will be me at my new team whenever that happens. So I'll see you next episode, where we start off our final journey with what should be our final club here in the Jose Mourinho Challenge. Bit of a forewarning though, it might be a little while till next episode. Obviously, I've got to play through the offseason, which takes a while. And if I don't find a job, well, then I've got to play into next season, whether that's up until January or potentially even the entire season with Barcelona. So yeah, I'll see you next episode, where we start our final journey and say our final goodbyes to Barcelona. I need to stop winning Champions Leagues. I'm running out of room. If you made it this far, why don't you like the video, subscribe, and click the bell. The links to all my socials and my Twitch are in the description. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.